guys, it's Kayla and welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things emo scene and everything in between. Today I'm going to be talking about being mentally ill, but like in a hot way. If you couldn't tell by like literally everything about me, I'm definitely mentally ill. I have anxiety and depression as well as some insomnia, but I did go to school for psychology and I have always found it to be super interesting as far as the way that our brains work and just like taking care of ourselves and the way that our mental health can impact our lives. And so I thought I would talk to you guys about just like the best ways to care for yourself and take care of your mental health that are just like super duper hot and you should totally do. So right off the bat, getting help whenever you feel like you have something going on with you mentally is absolutely literally the most attractive thing that you could do. Like 10 out of 10, that shit is cute. We love whenever people actually, you know, think to go and take care of themselves. If you're not feeling great or you're feeling down mentally or you're struggling in different ways and you want to get assistance with that, getting mental help is never a bad thing. There's nothing like to be frowned upon. Like it's not something to be embarrassed of. Like everybody needs help. And I think that doing this is like super important in figuring out like what's wrong with you so that way you can kind of like figure out what to do to make your life better. That's not to say that something's like wrong with you, but if you're experiencing something and like taking a medication or like maybe making changes to your lifestyle can help that, like you definitely need to be doing that. Obviously, once you get help, like a treatment plan is going to be different for each and every person. But you know, getting help is definitely the first step that everybody should really take as far as figuring out like what your diagnosis is and kind of going from there. With that being said, sometimes coming and getting a diagnosis from a doctor can result in having to take medication. So if you take medication like me, just know that you're not alone. And also like medications can be super tricky and complicated. You're not going to find one that works immediately. And if you do, like that's not to say it will last forever, or that you won't have to change medications. And there can just be a lot of complications around medicine in general. So if you haven't found something that works for you, don't feel discouraged. It definitely takes time. And also just like if you do take medication, make sure that you get it refilled and that you take it the way that you're supposed to, because medicines that tend to work best when you keep staying on them like consistently, taking them at the same time or taking them the same way you're supposed to, and definitely making sure that you stay on them only if like you're actually doing well on them. Obviously if it's like negatively impacting your health, then like you should probably talk to your doctor. But definitely make sure you take your meds, get them refilled regularly like you're supposed to. Nothing is hotter than like not running out of your meds. That's like the best. 10 out of 10, we love that. All right, but like let's say that you're not on medication, right? Let's say that you maybe prefer therapy or just like figuring it out on your own, which is totally fine if that is what works for you. But we gotta make sure that we do that, bestie, because like otherwise it's not hot. Like that's not cute, you know what I mean? So if you do go to therapy, make sure that you schedule your appointments regularly and actually go to them. If you're like me, you definitely have tried therapy or I've tried therapy. I definitely went to them for a period of time, but it wasn't for me, so I stopped going. But I know a lot of people that like actually do benefit from going to therapy. So like there's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure that you like go and do the thing with that, you know? Do your due diligence of like going and showing up. How much progress you make, obviously that's dependent on you and what your goals are with your therapist, but like showing up is like the main and most important thing that you can do. So definitely give it the fair shot that you are, especially if you're paying money for that, because you know that can definitely be expensive. And mental health care is no joke, so definitely take advantage of that. But if you, let's say you don't even do therapy, let's say that it's just you against the world and like you and your mental illness are like trying to figure it out. If it's just you and your mental illness, then you definitely have to make sure that you're taking care of yourself in a bunch of other ways, because it is so hard to manage your mental health and take care of yourself the way that you're truly supposed to if you're not like doing the things you need to like actually take care of yourself as a person. That means like making sure that you're like using healthy coping mechanisms when it comes to certain situations, managing and like self-checking on like how you're feeling throughout the day, or like regulating whether or not something that you're feeling is, you know, attributed to maybe something you're experiencing mentally, or if it's actually from like external circumstances. It's a lot of just like making sure that you're taking care of yourself. And that's also why self-care is so important. The ways that we take care of ourselves are literally the most important thing that we can do for ourselves, obviously, because we can't go out and like try and accomplish all the things in the world that we want to do if we're not firstly taking care of ourselves. And so yeah, it's super important to prioritize that over the responsibilities of just being a person. Taking care of yourself should be the most important thing you do. So obviously, how do we take care of ourselves? That depends on the person. Basic things like, I don't know, like having good hygiene, getting enough sleep, having a good diet, making sure that you take breaks when you need to and you're not overworking yourself, like things like putting yourself in not emotionally stressful situations for no reason, like, you know, like smart things that we can do to kind of like make our life a little bit just simpler. Those are also very basic things, and those things don't necessarily count as self-care either. Like, those are the basic things you need to just be a person as it is, like sleep, food, water, shelter. Like, those are all basic things you need to exist and like live a life where you're not worrying about just like the ability to survive. So from there, that's just like your basic needs. That shouldn't count as your self-care. Your self-care should definitely be stuff that you're doing for you, that is like enriching your life and making things better, that aren't something that like you have to necessarily do, but stuff that you have to do as far as making sure that it makes you feel better or it takes care of you. Some things that I like to do for self-care that would be a good example of this would be, I like to journal and talk about like, or write about my feelings, I should say. I definitely like to write about emotions that I'm experiencing, especially if I am deciding between whether or not this is an emotion that is definitely something I'm truly feeling, or if it's something generated or created by like my mental illness. And so therefore I like to journal and see if that kind of helps me. Also, journaling can be like a really good way for distracting yourself as well. So it doesn't necessarily have to be about what you're feeling. It could just be about whatever you want, as long as it's helping you as far as making sure that you're able to cope and like allowing your life to be a little bit easier. There's a lot of other things that you can do as well, as far as maybe with aromatherapy. I know that that can be really beneficial, using essential oils and things like that, or even meditation. That can be really good as far as taking care of yourself and kind of like staying in tune with yourself and kind of coming back to the body as just like how it is, instead of just being, you know, kind of like bothered by the outside world. I feel like it could really do a lot for you. One of the hottest things a mentally ill person can do is take advantage of their support system that they build, aka your friends and family, aka make sure that you vent to them and talk to them and rely on them and utilize them, because what's the point of having them if you do not use them? Everybody feels like a burden whenever they go to their friends and family about their problems, but in reality, that's what a support system is for. It's to offer you support. So definitely make sure that you're utilizing that. You're not alone, and you have people in your life that you can go to and talk to about things, and they're not burdened by your presence or by your emotions. In fact, people are innately social creatures, and therefore like we need to be able to have a way to socialize with others, and that includes in situations where we do feel stressed mentally and emotionally. And so you definitely need to make sure that you're taking advantage of that. I feel like a lot of this is self-explanatory, but I also feel like when it comes to being in the emo scene niche, or being in like the many subcultures that I'm a part of, a lot of people automatically stereotype it with the fact that there is mental illness very much in the communities. And I gotta say that they're not necessarily wrong. I feel like a lot of people in my community are experiencing mental illness or struggling with that. And I just want to go ahead and put it out there that you're not alone, and that there are definitely things that you can do to better help yourself and make your situation better. And while this video is meant to be fun and lighthearted, just know that I do care about you, and I want you guys to make good choices as far as being able to take care of yourself and your mental health, so that way you can accomplish and do amazing things in life, and you feel good about yourself as like a person and everything that you're doing. Hopefully this video isn't too much, but hopefully you can too be mentally ill, but like in a hot way, you know what I mean? Like super cute, very, very classy, like very demure, very mindful. We love it. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and head on out. If you like this video, make sure that you subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you know exactly when I post. Leave a like to let me know that you like it, and also comment below and let me know like what your best way of performing self-care is. Like, I'd love to know what you guys do for self-care. Like, maybe you go out in nature, or like you like to listen to music and stuff. Like, tell me about it. I want to know, what's your self-care? Anyways, yeah, remember to stay safe and make good choices, and remember that you're awesome. I love you guys. Mwah! Bye!